Welcome to the Grabbing the Brisket podcast. We appreciate the listen. Hey, we got an exciting interview planned for you guys later on.
We do.
Yeah, very soon later on.
I like how you just jumped right in there.
Yeah, we're not messing around.
We're not messing. We're giving you all the goodies right now.
Yeah. Before you get to listen to that, why don't you smash that subscribe button?
Yes.
Is that what they say? Smash it?
Smash it. I think people that say that are just tools.
Yeah, I would never say that. I would never say that.
Don't say that.
Yeah. But if you heard me say it, you should do it.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
hit the like and the follow and smash and grab.
Smash and grab. Smash. Fireworks. Hey, yeah, let's talk about this last podcast we just did. This remote that we were just on. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a great podcast.
Yeah, coming out Monday.
Right.
Well, it already came out, I guess.
Yeah, by the time they hear this,
by the time
coming out last Monday.
So
You've already heard it, so you already know how great it was.
How good was that?
Possibly. Yeah, you're right. But I really loved going there. I loved going to Backfish. It was a great environment, sitting back there in the room.
You liked sitting in the brewery where they were brewing and they brought you free beers and talking about barbecue? You like that?
I love that.
Okay.
Listen.
You like drinking a dark imperial stout beer at 9 a.m. in the morning?
I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
John, I need you to set more of these up.
We're going back this weekend.
Yay!
Just kidding. We're not going back.
Damn. Okay. That was a really fun time.
Any listeners out there that may possibly have a field trip that we need to go visit, brewery, barbecue restaurant, I mean, you name it, let us know.
Your backyard.
Anywhere in the United States, all of our TikTok money will pay for the trip.
Correct.
That's right.
As long as everything's inclusive.
What we mean by TikTok money is John and his wife's money, right?
Yeah.
Matt?
They probably have a few points built up.
Yeah,
The whole $12 that we've made.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
As soon as we get enough for a 12-pack, a case of beer, we're celebrating.
Yeah, I agree.
We're celebrating with a case of beer.
Maybe we need to wait until we can get a brisket and a case of beer. So about $100.
I'll tell you right now, a case of beer is not going to work. Cooking a brisket?
Keg of beer.
Keg
That's
of
what
beer.
I meant.
Keg.
That's what
Of
keg.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so tell the people what we have on store, on deck. Who do we have today?
We have Matt Messer from Cotton Gin Smokers. He
right.
builds those badass drum smokers you see all over the place.
CGS. These I'm really eager to talk to this guy because perusing the website and looking at his stuff and then seeing, I watched the Captain Ron video where he does the unboxing and does the seasoning of the pit, which is really badass how he did the FOGO on the front of the door, I guess, on it. But I'm really excited about how cool this. Just kind of talk to the man behind this and see how he come up with some of this stuff. I know these drum smokers have been out for a long time, but I think he's doing a different spin on this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They're no longer ugly drum smokers.
No,
Yeah, exactly.
They look pretty badass and they're pretty sweet. So we're excited to talk barbecue and these drum smokers and how to work them and what the functionality is and all that stuff.
Yeah,
They got so many gadgets on them now.
I know. So
Let's check
Very
the phone
cool.
line, see if he's waiting.
Dot him up, John. Let's go.
that's
Get
weird.
them on.
All right, guys, this is James grabbing the brisket. We're back with Matt with Cotton Gin Smokers. I don't know why I keep... Oh, man, my mind must be somewhere else. But, hey, Matt, thanks for joining us. Let's get right into it. So you are the owner and operator of Cotton Gin Smokers. These are ugly... Well, they're not really ugly drum smokers anymore. I mean, these are very, very nice vertical smokers that you're putting out there.
Thank you. Yes, I'm the owner and builder of Cotton Gin Smokers.
So can you take us back to the beginning on how you kind of got involved into building smokers and got into the whole barbecue scene?
Yeah, I mean, so growing up in Texas, obviously we eat, sleep, and breathe barbecue down there. And growing up, I ate it. I learned to eat it and eat it well. And my senior year in high school, I took a metal shop class, and I grew up as a preacher's kid and didn't have any cows. And everybody in my class, their class project, they were building cattle pens. And as a preacher's kid, didn't have any cows, so I thought, man, what can I build that I can use, and I'll wind up just giving that away to somebody else. And so decided to build a grill or a smoker on a trailer, and looked into the material cost, and was going to wind up costing me a couple $1,000s, and thought, maybe I'll just build cattle pens. But then I wound up getting really determined, and talked to my next door neighbor, and he had an old trailer, had a boat sitting on there. And when I told him what I was doing, he said, "Matt, look out there in that field. You see that boat?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "If you'll take that boat, I'll give you the trailer."
Oh, nice.
I scratched my head for a second, and I went and got my pickup and got the boat and trailer, and took the boat off, and I refabbed the trailer to put a smoker on there. And the next year came back to visit, and man, everybody was building grills and smokers, and it had transformed the thinking of the class. And there was probably 30 or 40 smokers just lining the floor of the shop when I went back to visit. And I was really, really humbled by that. And I had thought about going into welding as a profession, and wound up going a different direction. And I didn't pick up a welder until a few years later. Took a college class, and then after that, I didn't touch a welder for 15 years. And I wound up learning how to smoke meat up in Michigan, of all places, from a guy from Alabama. And and ended up with a pretty nice rotisserie smoker that I acquired, and started selling meat, just side porch catering, I call it. I wound up coming across the gentleman who founded the company, who built that smoker. It was a Southern Yankee smoker. They're out of Indiana and no longer in business. And he was selling blueprints to his smokers. And so I started communicating with him and realized that he was the founder of that company. And I bought a set of the blueprints, and next thing I know, we're building rotisserie smokers on trailers. We launched at Memphis in May of 2018, and I had a couple business partners then. A year later, our jobs kind of separated us, and so we dissolved the company, and I kept the name, and then I reformed it in Michigan. And somebody challenged me to build a drum smoker. I had made fun of them, actually, at Memphis in May. And I said, "Man, these guys are cooking on trash cans." And I was pointing and laughing, and somebody challenged me and said, "Don't knock it till you try it." So I did. I built one that in January of 2019, had some used drum and some parts, and I had no idea what it was going to lead to after that. I just thought maybe I was building one for myself, and that was going to be it. And next thing you know, somebody else wants one, and somebody else wants one.
Right. That's how it works.
So on.
And then,
just
being,
snowballed.
like from Michigan, it's kind of cold up there, right? So
a little chilly.
Usually, you're using the drum just for warmth, for heat, right?
Yeah.
So then you're
right.
like, let me go ahead and just go ahead and figure out how I can cook some brisket on this thing or something.
That's right. That was the Texan coming out of me. I figured out how to cook brisket on there, and we'll be good. Stay warm and eat right. So
2 birds with 1 stone, man. I love it.
That's right. That's right.
So it sounds like you've been, all over the place. Alabama, Michigan, obviously from Texas. Is Texas still in your heart?
Oh yeah, you come to my house and it's Texas or Texaco. Got stuff everywhere. Texas flag hanging on the side of the house, and my wife is from Michigan, and so she just kind of puts up with it and rolls her eyes.
Sure, yeah.
She's like, "Man, you're really prideful," and I'm like, "I know, I'm from Texas." So.
That's how it works.
I'm glad you didn't get converted, buddy. I'm glad.
Well, you mentioned off the not when we were getting ready for the podcast that you're from West Texas. Whereabouts in West Texas are you from?
Yeah, I'll just claim Amarillo, as that's where a lot of my dad's side of the family's from.
Okay.
My mom's family's from the Valley, but I lived more in West Texas. I never lived in the Valley. So Amarillo is where I go back to, or I go back to Austin now. And those are kind of 2 cities I go to. And Definitely a Longhorns fan. We'll just throw that out there.
Love it. Oh my God, this is great news. Great news.
Right? Oh, for sure. And I can tell you, I'm a panhandle guy myself. I'm from Denver City, Texas, so the whole cotton gin thing, Seminole, there's a lot of cotton from those areas. Does that go into your name as well, just being from that area?
It does, so having lived in West Texas and then lived in Tennessee, cotton is just very prevalent. It's part of the culture and part of the lifestyle. And when I moved up north, there's no cotton. The only white stuff is what you see in the wintertime.
Yeah, snow.
And and which y'all had a little bit of that not too long ago.
We got ice.
We got lucky. Yeah,
it was ice.
You got ice.
Yeah,
okay.
It wasn't snow.
Yeah. Very unfortunate. You know what I mean? We wanted to be excited about it, but then it hung around for more than just a day, and then it got pretty real. Like people in Texas. I mean, you think of Texas, just the great state of Texas, which it is. Their power grid just wasn't quite up to par there.
Not up to snuff, huh?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So, when I came up here and I was doing some catering and stuff, and I've always toyed with opening a barbecue restaurant up here because there's not any great barbecue. A couple places that are decent. My wife, she doesn't like to go out to eat barbecue because she's like, it's not going to match up to anything that you're taking me to down south or anything you've made. And so, but anyway, I always thought for some reason that I would call the place Cotton Gin Barbecue Company. And that would be the name of my restaurant. And I just felt like you could do a lot with that theme. If you do anything up here with a Texas or Southern flair, it's gonna. If you do it right, it's gonna sell. But I never really had the desire to open a restaurant. I mean, it just was kind of in my back of my head somewhere. And so when we started Cotton Gin Smokers, and I had the business partners, the trailers and rotisseries were being built in Mississippi. I was living in Michigan, and my partner was down there in Mississippi, and he was looking for a shop for us. He called me up one day, and he told me, he said, I found a shop. And I said, oh, great. Tell me about it. He said, well, it's an old cotton gin. And I started laughing, and I told him that story I just said about being up here, and it just made sense. Cotton Gin Smokers, and it just stuck. And now we're rolling with it. So been rolling with it for a couple of years now, I guess.
Very cool. Very cool.
Awesome. I'll be honest, I didn't even realize you guys were doing. I thought it was just drum smokers. You guys are still doing the.
No, so when we parted ways, I didn't have a shop. I didn't have a welder. Hadn't been welding in 15 years, and so all of a sudden I lost my operations guy, and so when I started building drum smokers, I was literally building them in my basement, and I would drill them out. There was no welding involved at that time. I would drill them out, carry them up the stairs I'll start from the beginning. The drums would show up at my house. I would haul everything down to the basement, drill it out, haul it back upstairs, take it to powder coat, come back from powder coat, back down the stairs, reassemble everything, haul it back upstairs to give it to the customer.
Good Lord.
So that smoker went up and down the stairs like 4 or 5 times, and it sucked really bad. Let's see, March, April, May. We moved out of the basement and moved into a shop and on level ground.
There you go.
And that was much better.
So I'm really intrigued by this because being somebody that just thinks about business, all the time, I'm always thinking of an angle. I'm not a shyster.
Yeah,
right?
An angle.
And I'm always looking at something like, okay, look, is that something that I could do? Is this something that and a lot of times like, no, I don't have the resources, or I don't have the ability. I've never done that before. Maybe I have to be, it's a craft, right?
Sure.
But what you're doing is like, this is not the simple little ugly drum smoker. And I think you have one on there that's like the original, the first one that you probably built or whatever else,
the base
right?
model,
the base model, yep.
Yeah,
and then
the one that it's got the picture of me that you posted as the advertisement for this episode. That was I think that was number 2. Number 1 and number 2 were very close in the color pattern, so I'm trying to remember which one that one was. I think that was number 2 that I made for a friend up here. But they were basically identical smokers. Nice. But those were rattle can painted. I painted those by hand, and that was for the birds. So we quickly moved to powder coating, and it's more durable and it's just better quality. So
yeah, it'll last longer for sure. And I guess it holds up to the heat, right? So you're not worried about it fading or peeling or anything else once you powder coat.
So it's powder coat is regular temp. Powder coat is baked on at 450, and it's rated to 600. And so when you're cooking either low and slow or hot and fast, you're not even getting up to that 450. If you are, there might be a problem.
Right. Unless there is a problem, like, because I have we talked about this. So we built one of our own drum smokers.
Oh, yeah?
This is
Nice.
this is way back
Well,
before.
I wouldn't use the word nice.
No, it was definitely an ugly drum. And this is
Are you sending? Are you like preparing to give me your resume? Like,
right? Yes. No.
Okay.
It's
are we
coming
turning
your
this
way.
into a job interview?
Right. So, but more on my cooking experience or whatever. So, probably the first couple times I used one of these things, I've been cooking on stick burners and Traegers and Weber grills, far as I can remember.
Right.
This thing's no different. I can handle it. It's no big deal. It was a big deal. It handled it just a little bit different. And I'll just a quick little story. So I had it, and I was doing a brisket and doing the whole hot and fast type deal, and it was coming along beautifully. The bark was set. Everything was great. And I was like, all right, it's time for me to wrap it. So I made the mistake of opening up the lid and leaving the lid open while I went into the house to grab tinfoil. And on the way out,
then you had a rocket coming out of the top of your smoker.
correct, yeah. On the way out of coming back to my front yard where I had the barrel, I was like, you know what? I got to go to the bathroom. Let me just go to the bathroom real quick. And then I totally just blanked out. I had one of those Thermowork thermometers into the brisket, and I had the receiver with me, and all of a sudden it just starts going off, and I just get like an error message, and I'm like, well, that's weird. I mean, these things are usually pretty reliable. I don't know what really is happening here. So I come out, yes, this thing looks like it's about to shoot off to the moon. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
I go to pull the cord out, the probe that was in the brisket. It already melted the probe. The probe just came out, and I mean, the probe was still in the brisket, and the cord just came with my hand. So,
Oh my goodness.
They do take a little bit of working, getting them able to work. So it takes a little bit of a practice, but once you dial it in, those things are. I mean, you don't have to mess with it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably what a lot of people have gravitated towards in whether you're backyard cooking or whether you're doing a competition barbecue wise, or if you're doing a steak deal. And I imagine you've probably seen it on your end, just the popularity of these things just picking up just a little bit.
Yeah, they have. And, and COVID, I think, has helped with that too, because, everybody went to cooking at home instead of going out to restaurants at the beginning. And so they're, trying to figure out new and creative ways to cook from home. And that's really what has projected our business to the next level. And, people, I think hopefully people will stay in that mindset, once things kind of normalize, which I just saw that y'all are starting to normalize down there, which is great.
A little bit. We'll see how it pans out for us. I mean, they're starting to lift some of the restrictions.
We're not going back.
Yeah. You got to move forward.
We're about to lift all the restrictions.
Yeah.
So as an out-of-stater, not that you are, but you're living there. But so what are the people around there saying when they see stuff like that? That Texas is doing this or whatever.
I've just got back from being down south, so I haven't heard much up here. But I tell you, most Michiganders are ready to move forward as well. But I live on the state line of Indiana and Michigan, so we would just go over to Indiana to go out to eat if.
Right.
So everybody in Michigan's like, we're just going to go to Indiana, and
We'll
we did
spend
have a
all
few
of our
restaurants that stayed open and broke the rules, and we support them as well. But
So does Indiana have a good barbecue?
No.
They-
No. Let's just say no. Let's just be honest.
No.
Okay.
There is one place called Fat Cat, and they do decent brisket. Pulled pork is terrible. Their ribs are not too bad. And then there's a brewery in Michigan up on the lake called Greenbush Brewery, and they have some good beer, but they do a fantastic brisket mac and cheese, and that's the best around here.
That sounds good.
So those are the only two spots though that we are opening a Mission Barbecue as a chain, and I heard Dickies was going to be opening up, but
Stay away from that place.
sad thing is that'll be the best barbecue some people have eaten. So
That's going to be. I don't think Dickies has a barbecue pit in their barbecue restaurant.
they probably don't. No,
I don't think they do. That's awfully weird.
Right. So I've seen on your website you have 3 different, models of drums. Do you want to explain kind of what the difference is on those?
Yeah, sure. So you got the sower, which is kind of the beginner base model. You got the reaper and you got the harvester. The engine, the inside, the heat shield, charcoal basket, and baffle plate. That's all the same in all 3 models. So I know some of the other competitors, you have to, you get the smoker and then you have to buy the extra pieces. You get the charcoal basket, but you got to buy the heat shield and the baffle plate. Everything comes with it in all 3 models. The sower is got a kind of like a big green egg. It's got the draft door down at the bottom, and then you got your exhaust on the top, and it's got a lid hook instead of a hinge, and it's got a single grate in there. So it's very basic as far as frills and thrills go. Trying to make it more economy line. I don't sell very many of those. Then you got the Reaper. That one's got casters, and then it's got your 2 stubby intakes down at the bottom. Other than that, it's the same as the sower. And then the harvester, that's our premier smoker, and that's, I would say, 9 out of 10 smokers that I sell are the harvester. It's got casters, it's got handles on the side, it's got a hinge lid, it's got a tri-level system for hanging meat. You can comfortably hang 9 racks of ribs in there vertically. You can fit 12. It's a little tight squeeze, but you can do it. You've got the tri-level grate system where you can cook on different levels in there. And then you've got clearly the front door that's on the front. And that's where the customization kicks in, and people want to put their logos on the front. They want to customize the colors and stuff. And I don't sell a whole lot of the standard models. It's all custom harvesters is pretty much what we do.
Yeah, I mean you have a couple of barbecue pits on there, and you look at one, you're like, okay, that's nice, and then you see one that's like, that's a door. You put a door on it.
Yeah, explain the door. Like, what is the purpose?
I want the door.
Yeah, what's the? I mean, for the listeners.
Yeah, it's luxury. It's a luxury piece, so it doesn't, it's not affecting the cook at all. Well, I guess in a way it does. So with the tri-level system, if you opt to get 2 meat grates, everything comes with 1 laser cut grate. If you opt for a second one, or if you want to add like a Weber kettle grate, it's the same diameter. It'll fit on there. So you could be running 2 grates in there, and that bottom level grate you can access from that door, and you can open that up. And if you want to spritz it, or if you need to rotate your meat, instead of pulling all the grates and everything out to do everything, you can just open that door, pull that out. If you're rotating your meat and you want to put what's on the top grate down, open your lid and swap it out real quick. So it's got that purpose. You can access your charcoal basket if you were to do, say you're doing 2 brisket cooks back to back and you needed to refuel, you could do that. And then just taking some really sweet pictures. So that seems to be the very popular thing to do now is pictures of your meat hanging there. So
right, yeah, we're not cooking barbecue to eat it. We just want to get pictures of it.
Yeah, that's right. We want some really cool pictures.
So you said in May or so you moved into the new shop. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
And then,
so we moved into a 15 by 40 business incubator, and I thought, man, this is great compared to my basement. It quickly filled up when I started putting all the drums in there and charcoal and everything that came with it. So then we wanted to move from there to a 20 by 40. And then not long after that, we moved into a 40 by 40 that's fully insulated, heated. I mean, it's night and day difference. And now, as we were talking about before the show, found out the facility that we're renting from did not have the correct zoning in place. And so the zoning commission and fire department got involved. And it's nothing that we did wrong. It's on our landlord,
yep.
And it's going to be a long process for them to even get rezoned, and so we're having to make a decision this week on Friday, and I've got it narrowed down to a couple different shops, and I think it's going to wind up being for the best. And eventually, I plan on building my own building, but we still can't build right now because the frost is on the ground. So we'll temporarily move and eventually we'll land somewhere. But
look, I'm
permanent.
I'm throwing this out here, Matt, and I just want you to take this, take it with a grain of salt, right? Texas misses you, man. Like, we don't have to worry about frost on the ground. You can build right now. Right? Land is cheap. We have plenty of it. I'm sure your wife would love to move here. Let's just do this. Let's make it happen. Let's bring you back home.
Man, so as much as I would love to do that, I spent 10 formidable years of my life. College, I went to college in Tennessee. Built a lot of relationships there, and I learned to appreciate Memphis barbecue. Still, it's good. Brisket's king, but I did learn to appreciate dry rub ribs. I do like pulled pork, and so, and my mom, I've got family in Memphis, so she's in Memphis. I'll let the cat out of the bag here. My big picture goal is to end up in Memphis. With a destination barbecue supply store and moving my manufacturing there. And then I want to partner with two other businesses, one a brewery and one a barbecue restaurant. And with all three buildings be right there, kind of make a triangle. And then in the center, you'd have this big game yard with really nice games, some pavilions set up. You could come in with your company or with a group of friends, and you could rent out one of these pavilions, go play your games, come back and eat, have a couple brews, and all three businesses kind of scratching each other's backs. We'd have a live stage there for some live music, and kind of make it a really cool atmosphere at the barbecue supply store. We would have an outdoor kitchen as well for doing cooking classes and bringing some people in to do some demonstrations and stuff. So, and we would be able to really get in and support Memphis in May barbecue festival there and be a kind of a big player in that. That's kind of the big 5-year goal, maybe, is what we're thinking. So
that sounds amazing.
It does. Sound amazing.
It'll be fun.
I like the
I want
vision.
it to be a place that any dad driving through Memphis goes, man, we need to stop at Cotton Gin Barbecue Supply. That's a cool place. Let's and they want to take their son there to go and buy another grill or come hang out and cook a few things and make it an experience. There's not a you would think in Memphis there would be a great barbecue supply store, and there's not. And there's a couple spots that are, they're decent. The owners are nice and everything, but it's not anything to write home about. And I think Memphis should have that. So that's kind of my big picture goal, but I carry Texas with me everywhere. There'll be Texas flags hanging up in there.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time. I think it's really awesome.
That's definitely a fantastic idea. I mean, we've all have toyed around with the idea of having something like you're putting out there and you're envisioning. So hey, we wish you the best. I mean, we really hope you achieve those goals.
Yeah.
Well, if it works, who knows? Maybe we'll be franchising at some other big cities and stuff. I've got a brother in St. Louis. Maybe we could take something down to Perryland and do a Cotton Gin barbecue supply store down there. So
yeah.
There it is. That's very cool.
We will be at the grand opening.
Yeah.
So have you ever?
Well, y'all be the ones running it. So let's get this straight now.
I'm quitting my job tomorrow.
Sweet.
Have you ever gotten into the competition side of cooking?
Yeah, I think he is. The state cook-offs.
Okay.
And right, haven't you done some of those?
Yeah, so the funny thing is I have only competed myself one time, and that was at a local, we've got a big festival up here every year, and they decided to do a backyard barbecue competition, not sanctioned by anybody. And the first year they did it, I found out about it too late. Second year I got in on it, and there was like 17 teams, I guess, something like that. And I got in, didn't have a clue what I was doing, as far as the competition side of things goes. And I had a blast. It was a lot of fun. But afterwards, the business side of me went, man, I need to get in here and help make this a better event. And how can I help improve it? And how can I sponsor some teams to come in here and really, push this and help it become something better than it is? Well, COVID hit and it got canceled, so I didn't get to do that this year. But since then, we went out to Kansas City and sponsored a SCA event out there, and that was a blast. And just the camaraderie and the feel. Like I've been to Memphis in May, I've been to American Royal, had a blast there, but the feel is just different at the SCA events. And from my understanding, it is the fastest growing food sport in the world right now. And I was talking to Brett the other day. He's the founder, Brett Galloway, and he told me that they had 350 competitions across the country this last year, even with COVID. This next year, they've got 500 that they're estimating will happen in America.
Wow!
Plus whatever happens overseas. I'm just amazed, and so we get the opportunity. We're gonna become a national sponsor for them, for the organization. And then we'll be representing at their world competition in Fort Worth in a couple weeks. And so the world champion will get one of our smokers. So
that's awesome.
That's nice. Yeah, that's something that we've been interested in getting involved with doing this. They don't really have a whole lot of the steak cook-offs here in Houston, in our area, which is kind of weird, but we're definitely eager into jumping in. And I understand the thrill of it and the people gravitating toward. I'm not saying it's easy because it's a skill. It's something, but it's not it's not like a barbecue competition where you load up on Friday, get everything unpacked, and then you're cooking all day,
it's
and
not
it's just a whole
event.
weekend ordeal.
It's like a 25-minute cook.
Right.
Yeah.
You're done.
yeah,
almost.
you would be amazed. They spend hours prepping this little steak to cook it, and it's not just slapping a steak on the grill. I mean, these guys. I was watching in amazement, and I was in Kansas City. Like the techniques they did, and the way they trimmed it, and the way they babied that thing. It was incredible. But it's a huge family. Like they'll help each other out, man. You know, somebody couldn't get a grill in because they flew in. You know, hey, let me loan you a grill. You know, they're all about each other and helping each other. It's not like, you know, when it's time to cook and for turning and everything, they're all business, but man, they have a blast together and cut up and have a good time. So I was really intrigued by the atmosphere there.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Brad. I was actually emailing with him back and forth today, just asking about events coming up in Houston, if there was any or whatnot.
Yeah,
seems like a great guy.
Yeah, the world festival or the world competitions it is March. I leave March 11th, so I think it's that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Man, y'all should come up to Fort Worth and come to it,
dude. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'll have a tent there, and you come do a live event or something.
Hey, don't listen. I will do this. I will.
I'm serious about it. Yeah. Come on.
Do not tempt us with a good time.
Yeah, you kidding me? We just did a remote at a brewery last Saturday, and man, I had the time of my life. It's hard to drink beer at 9 o'clock in the morning, but here's the deal: you have to do it for the podcast, right? That's not my fault.
Do you have to?
You have to. You're at the brewery. So yeah, and like we were in the tap room doing it, and very cool setup, and we had a blast. My wife was not happy with me drinking that early in the morning because when I came home after drinking, I think I had 2 or 3 beers there, but these aren't like normal Coors Lights.
10%ers.
These are like 10% beers. Like I had a bottle of wine or something. I was like, I got to take a nap or something. It was way too much. So now you obviously you're fixing to move your process or move to another building, but I'm just curious with this whole thing going, and I'm sure you've ramped up and everything else, but what's an idea? And this is just for me. If you don't want this on, we can definitely cut it out. But how many units are you putting out? Like, are you just like? I saw it's like a 6-week backlog, or it's at least 6 weeks to get something out. If you order it,
right now. So I'm working a full-time job elsewhere on top of this. So to get, it does not take me that long to put a drum together. But yeah, we've got probably 10 or 12 orders on the floor right now that are in process, and then there's a few more that came in while I was out of town. And so I'll do this. year one, my goal when I started doing this was to build 12 smokers a year. I just wanted, it was a hobby. I wanted to build one a month, give me something to tinker around with in the basement, right? I built 26 in year one. And then we tripled our sales in year two. And we put out somewhere around 75 in year two. My goal is to do 120 in year three. Then on top of that, we're launching the 500-gallon offsets. So eventually my goal here is just to go full-time with this.
Right.
And we'll be at the shed at Brad Orson's in April. And the goal is to launch the 500-gallon there and have it there on site. So we'll awesome, see. Man. Keep our fingers crossed. It's coming along nicely. We're really excited about it, and waiting on a few other parts to get cut, and then we should be able to start working on finishing it up.
Okay, so we did get some questions from listeners, and one of them, and I don't know how well this would. Maybe you'll have to cut this out, but he asked if he wanted to build his own drum. Do you have any tips for him? I don't know if you guys sell like parts for drums or anything like that.
We don't. We're not a wholesale dealer. However, I would sell somebody a kit and send them a kit, and because I understand the value of building something myself, and so if somebody else wants to build one themselves, I'm more than happy to help them. And so, and one of the things that I'm wanting to do in the future. And this may be more like once we get to Memphis, what we wind up doing, but wanted to do some building classes. So obviously we'd get a different nameplate that would go on that smoker that would kind of set it apart from our regular smokers, just for company quality standards and stuff. But you come in on Saturday and you would spend 4 hours hanging out and drilling your holes and building your smoker, but they would pay, X amount of dollars to cover the cost of the material, X amount to do the class. And then, one of us would be there building alongside them, telling them, okay, this is where you got to put everything and helping them out. And then they'd pick their colors. That week we would take it to go get powder coated. The next Saturday they come back and assemble it. And then off they go. So I don't know, just something fun to do. Allow people to have a kind of a DIY class, I guess. But yeah, so if somebody, have them contact me, and we could definitely get a kit out to them with the parts that they want.
Definitely, we definitely will. Okay, I got one more question, and this is well, let me take the question is first, I guess. Why does the food that comes off the FOGO cotton gin smoker, the one that you built for FOGO, seem to be so top-notch every time? Is it because of the cook that's using it? And that is from Captain Ron, the guy that uses it.
He's the one that asked the question?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Of course it is. Yes. It's definitely the cook. It's definitely the
cook. That's really good. That's really good. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, that guy.
You can always count on him with good questions.
I know.
Sure. Yeah, right.
Actually, man, I have a question. So, like, you're talking about you have a lot of stuff. Obviously, when you're first doing it, it's all you. How hard is it for you to delegate a lot of the stuff? To trust somebody else to do, to build something the way you're going to build it, the way that it needs to be built and stuff like that. How's that delegation process?
It's me and one other guy right now, and we work as a team. He's more business experience. He's got a lot more business experience behind him, and so he's been able to pour a lot of his wisdom into me, just in the short time I've known him. And we work really well together. And I've learned to trust him really quickly. And if I'm out of town, I need him to take care of something while I'm gone. I fully trust him to do that.
Sure. I guess I was talking more of like the building process, because you were a welder, right? And you were talking about, you were thinking how many were y'all going to make at first, and then you like tripled that. Like you had to delegate immediately at some point.
I think you built them all.
So you built them all.
I've had my hands on every one of them at this point. I did hire some kids, 18, 19, 20-year-old boys to come work for me.
That's the question I guess I'm getting to is like,
Yeah,
I mean, you're
we
seeing
hired
everything
them
for
for a little
sure.
while.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Yeah, I was just saying, like, you're seeing everything. Like, at some point, you have to know, like, well, this isn't my hand on it anymore. You know, did that delegation process? I mean, at some point, it has to like, damn it, I don't have my hand on this one though. But maybe you do. I really don't know.
You know, part of it is, and the part that I'm looking forward to in growing is being able to. I don't want to just create a job for myself. I want to be able to create a job for other people and to influence other people. And so I want to be able to influence the guys that work with me,
Sure.
and as well as customers and friends that I meet along the way. You know, and I want them to be able to influence me, and I want to create that space. So, you know, I'm an open book. And so what happened, we hired these three kids to come work with us, and they're fantastic. They were hard workers, which is hard to get with that young guys anymore. They just, you know, don't want to work. And but these guys were hard workers. They were about my brand. They were passionate about it. They were creative. They were social media driven, and they had a lot of creativity. So I gave them a lot of free space to be creative and to come up with videos and to come up with stuff. And that was probably the hardest thing for me during that season was, okay, if they're not building, they're not working, but that's not true. Like, these guys were coming up with really creative things and way to promote stuff. And I kind of had to step back and let them do some of that. And they came out with some good stuff and improved my social media stuff. So yeah, you know, right now they're not working and not on board right now. Still, you know, I was with one of them today, and still have great relationships with them. But they're at this point they're not here working. So
yeah, well, that's super exciting, to be honest with you. Anytime you build something and see it to sell it, it's almost like selling a plate of food and watching somebody's eyes when they eat it, right? And then or selling something and somebody uses what they post a video about your product, and you're like, dude, I built that product, and they're posting videos about it. So that's got to be really a great feeling in itself right there. And that not only to double and triple the amount of sales you've had, you know, in just a couple of years. I'm hoping that social media, which is something I struggle with, but John over here is like the master at social media, and James as well. These are two guys who are just, they understand it really well, and it's really a tool to use, right? It's not just like, how are you doing, Grandma? How are, hey, we're friends here. So
nowadays it's not just for just freaking teens, it's getting together. I mean, people are using this as a tool to
drive
excel their
drive
business,
customers, drive profits.
Hey, I'm 38 years old. When it was probably about a year and a half ago, at my full-time job, we have a whole media team. So I'm blessed with that because I can rely on these guys for a lot of things. But they pulled me aside and said, Matt, we need to talk to you. And I said, okay, sit down with these guys. And these are all like, you know, early 20s, 18, 19, 20-year-old. And they said, look, in kind words, we're going to tell you that your social media sucks. I said,
you have to listen at that point.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm listening. I said, you're not going to offend me at all. You just tell me straight up because I know and I need help. And so they started talking about algorithms and times of the day to post. And they said, right now your site looks like you are somebody who likes barbecue and that you take pictures of food you make or food, you know, restaurants that you go to and stuff. You got to clear all that stuff out of there, get rid of that stuff, and start focusing on product. And so things started to really take a shift at that point, and I really started diving in and studying. And about the time you figure out Instagram, it changes. And
that's the truth. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
So any tips that John and James have they want to pass along later, feel free. I always love to learn new stuff. So,
well, I'm going to give you a tip right now. Go out and get an alligator and smoke it on one of those things. And take a million pictures of looking inside this alligator, looking down at you. I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably going to get a million hits on it.
Or just send us a cotton gin, and I'll smoke an alligator on it and take some pictures.
Right.
I'll send you the pictures.
Yeah.
Nice.
I
appreciate that.
Yeah, this is. I've seen James has shown me some of the pictures that people have taken with opening the door and they're hanging ribs inside, or you're taking pictures from the top of the smoker, looking down at whatever food they're doing. And I'm like, dude, these are $1 million shots. They look like they look really great. You know what I mean?
There's some people doing some really great things with them, and I'm really proud of that.
You should be.
Yeah. I'm super excited to see where you go next year and year after and whatever else. And I know John shared a picture with everybody. John has a 500-gallon smoker. Actually, he's got a 500-gallon and a 250-gallon smoker sits on the same trailer. They don't share the same firebox, but the fireboxes they're both double wall. It's
set flush.
Pretty freaking awesome. So when I heard the 500-gallon smoker, I'm like, oh my god, yes, that's what I'm talking about. But I've seen a lot of competitions down here in Texas where people with the big rigs and everything else, that's going away. You're starting to see a lot more competition, smoker or cookers using these drum smokers, and because they're so easy to maintain, they can have 3 or 4 of them out there at one time. They can light them ahead of time and just maybe maintain 250 degrees at next 10 hours, right? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Because all your different, cook-off meats on them.
Yeah. They're cooking. They got one set up for brisket, one set up for chicken, one set up for ribs or anything else.
Yeah.
So I've seen that these big teams, all of a sudden they have a little bitty space now. They don't have to have this huge space. And then even Alden's father-in-law, he's got this big trailer pit, and he went out and bought 3 drums.
3 of them.
And now that's what he uses in all of his competitions is those 3 drums. And I'm like, that's genius. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why do you need a 500-gallon smoker for a competition?
Right.
Now,
those are and that's the thing. It's a whole nother niche there. You're now, because of that shift there, the 500 gallons are going to be more aimed towards guys that are doing catering,
businesses. If you want
53 briskets.
If you want to cook 30 briskets, get the 500-gallon smoker. Here's the deal. We've loaded John's pit up both sides with meat cooking for fun. We're fundraising for something, or we got one coming up, and we're doing one with Lions Club and for the city and first responders. That we're just gonna be out there just cooking just to do it, right? I mean, we're not charging for it or anything. It's just that part I love. I love that whole giving back and like, hey, we can hold 40 briskets. Not very many people can do that. So that's the part I really love.
Yeah, it's that's a lot of fun. We're hoping to do some stuff for our local fire department and police department here in this once the weather gets all warm and settled down. So support them a little bit.
That is awesome. Well, we're getting kind of close to the end on time here, but we have a question that we didn't get to yet that we have to ask you. Barbecue fail. We like to drag those out of people. Do you have one? And a lot of people don't fail. I know we get that. Like, I don't ever fail, but maybe you have.
Yeah. So I think John, you and I were kind of going back and forth about that the other day, and my one fail that I want to talk about here. This would have been probably 7 years ago. We just bought our new house, and all my family came up for Thanksgiving. And Mom says, "I want a brisket for Thanksgiving," and I had never cooked a brisket before. And I thought, it can't be that hard. I've got this electric smoker that cabinet smoker. You just plug it in and set the temperature and let it do its thing. Right. Just throw the wood chips up on the side and we're good to go. It was a cold Thanksgiving in Michigan, and we live out on a field, and the wind blows like crazy. I could not keep that thing up to temp. And I didn't do any research. I didn't trim it. I didn't do anything to this thing. I just stuck this chunk of meat into the smoker, right? And I know y'all are probably shaking your heads right now. Like,
because you build smokers right now. You're really, really getting to me.
Right. So this was before I learned to smoke meat. I knew how to eat it, but I hadn't learned how to cook it. And so, man, I thought, oh, we'll give it like 8 hours or so. It should be plenty of time. And 8 hours rolls around. That sucker wasn't even close to being done. And everyone starts getting hungry around 10 hours. And I'm like, shoot, what am I going to do? And I'm like freaking out. Here I'm the host and everybody, like, we just pulled it out and stuck it in the oven and cranked it up. And it was more of a beef roast than anything. But it was terrible. And I told Mom and not long ago, I was like, you remember that brisket I cooked at Thanksgiving? And she says, oh, yeah, that was good. And I'm like, Mom, you're the only one that has said that's good. Like,
that's your mom. She has to say that.
You're obligated to say that. But let's be real. It was terrible. It's like shoe leather.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's so. And that's the thing, John, some people will tell you they haven't failed. And I want anybody that's listening to this, just if you're new to cooking barbecue, cooking, or anything in life, you're going to fail. Allow yourself to fail. Allow yourself to learn from your failures and keep going. Keep moving forward and let your failures be an encouragement to you that you can improve and that you can do better. And don't be afraid to talk about your failures. Like, everybody's going to fail. We're humans. We're a fallen creature, and we're not. There's no perfection here. So let's embrace that and learn from those failures and mistakes and screw ups and embarrassments and shoe leather.
Oh yeah, and shoe leather,
100%.
Yeah, learn from your shoe leather, right?
That's right.
Let's make that a tagline.
I love it.
That's the title of the episode.
Right.
There you go.
No, I do love that. I mean, that's a great message. I mean, it's something that we talk about constantly on the podcast, learning from our failures, because we can't grow. I mean, unless we learn. I mean, let's face it. Not everybody just rolls out a perfect brisket or chicken.
All
or whatever.
be like me.
Yeah, we hear it from a lot. Like, I mean, especially when you put yourself out there, social media wise, you hear it because there are a lot of critics out there.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I don't know, that brisket looks. I'll never forget the first time I ever cooked a brisket. I was pretty happy with it, and I thought it came out with a nice smoke ring, and I thought it was nice and juicy and moist and all that good stuff. And I took a picture of it and I posted on Reddit, and they just totally just like bagged the crap out of it. I'm like,
yeah,
you guys are a bunch of. I'm going home. But yeah, eventually they were like. Eventually they were like, oh, no, that's good, that's great. And then as I started progressing, I started posting more and more pictures until I posted one brisket. I think we had won Pasadena Livestock Show and Rodeo, which is about 160, 170 people. I think we came in teams, and we came in second in brisket. And I posted that brisket, and then everybody's like, oh, man, that's amazing. That looked great, and all that stuff like that. Now they started coming in like, hey, man, you think you can share that recipe? You think I can get that?
Kiss my ass.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm good. And then now I'm the jerk because I won't share the freaking winning recipe and all that good stuff. But hey, I mean, if we're not learning, we're not growing. So I mean,
right.
We definitely appreciate you sharing that message for sure.
Absolutely.
Before we go, I'm gonna leave it open to you. Plug your social medias, the websites, and any final thoughts or questions that you might have. Fire away, bud.
I just want to thank y'all for the opportunity to be on here. It's been a blast. It's always enjoyable to talk to some fellow Texans and about something I'm passionate about. And to go check out our social media. We're on Instagram at Cotton Gin Smokers. Our website is cottongensmokers.com. We're on Facebook as well for Cotton Gin Smokers on there. And then, I want to thank my brand ambassadors, Derek Perry, Shelby Prest, Craig Tabor, Robin Amy Dopp, Rich Bayhurst, Colin Barker, and Ty Foti. So check them out on Instagram. And, thank you very much again. This has been an honor and a privilege to be on here.
We really appreciate it. I think we actually have your guy Derek Perry coming up next month on the show.
Yes, Derek. He's been a big influencer for me, and become a good friend. So they all have, but Derek's been with me for a little bit. So
That's awesome.
All right. Well, Matt, hey, thank you for taking time out of your schedule. We really do appreciate it here at Grabbing the Brisket. We wish you the best, and hopefully we can meet up with you a little bit later on down the road with the new adventures that hopefully are in the works for you.
yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
All right, Matt. Hey, you take care, bud.
Absolutely. Y'all too.
Well, what y'all think, man? I thought that was cool. That dude's cool.
Yeah. I mean, Mike is a great guy. Just kidding.
Quit
I'm
bagging
just
on me,
joking.
shit.
Hey, James.
Yeah.
Nobody was going to talk.
Hey,
I had to
Matt
talk real
was-
That's
fast.
the name.
Matt
of
was super
two
cool.
Guests,
I've been waiting for
and
a while
then
to
all of
say
a
this.
sudden,
James.
it
Wait for a
becomes
while.
a thing.
No, Matt was super cool, super fun having him on.
I want to play with one of those drums.
Yeah, well, definitely, right? But I'm sure we can. Dude, let's just get together. We'll buy some. I mean, we can't.
Yeah.
I mean, we can
if
buy
we
the.
all get together.
Yeah, throw some money in there. Boom, we
We
got
need
one.
another about 48 million
What?
TikTok videos
Okay.
to go
Yes, we'll just
viral.
buy it with our TikTok money.
There it is.
We will buy one in
There it
17
is.
years.
Can we?
Got
We should.
to-
We should have asked Matt if he accepted Doge coins. Totally could have paid for them. With
I don't even know what that is.
What the hell's a
Just
Dogecoin?
listen, guys.
Bitcoins.
Don't get,
Bitcoins,
don't get in-
cryptocurrency.
Let's just get off of this, James.
No. Hey,
Uh,
super great that he took time out to schedule
Yeah.
to get on the Grab.
see how much guys traveling around and everything
Memphis
else.
is May.
So,
He was over there at the Shed Barbecue with Brad. I mean,
Is that the Royal?
yeah,
I mean,
He's
bouncing
all over the
everywhere.
He goes everywhere, man.
yeah. And on top of that, look, I'm glad the numbers are looking good. He's getting a lot of these out, right?
Yeah.
Which is very cool. And I'm looking to maybe hopefully see this guy blowing up. I want to see this guy just
Yeah.
blowing up. Like, hey, I've had so many orders. We're not in a 40 by whatever. We have
Right.
a whole production
Warehouse,
of these
yeah.
things going out.
For
right?
all you listeners there that are listening, please be sure to tag Grabbing the Brisket to receive your, so we receive our
Yeah.
Bill?
If you're going to order one,
Mitchell.
go ahead and tell them you heard about them from Grabbing the Brisket.
That's what I was
Right.
trying to get to.
Okay.
Also, Captain Ron
There's no
has the Team FOGO one. Maybe we should get our hands on that since we're technically Team FOGO now.
Yeah. You think? I don't think he'll
He should send
to
it
us.
this way.
I don't, he's like, hey, let you borrow it for a week. We're never going to send it back.
Exactly. I mean, we will.
Well, I mean, we will. I
Like
promise.
a worn shirt?
Yeah.
It's like what Alden would say. It's like
It's
both
like
of ours, but
We're keeping it in
Just keep it in
my
my
house.
house.
Yeah. That's my bag, punk.
Yeah, exactly.
go check out Cotton Gin Smokers.
Yeah. Very nice guy.
Very nice guy. Very nice pits. I mean,
Yeah.
the drums that he's putting out there.
And I want to see
very
the 500-gallon
nice quality.
smoker. I want to see this 500-gallon
Yeah,
smoker.
he didn't have it on his page.
No,
he
not
did
yet.
have the smoker that he built in shot class. I
saw that one.
Did he?
So
I saw
that was
that.
pretty nice. A nice little reverse flow.
Check out their
smoker.
website.
Yeah.
So speaking of websites, Alden, hit him up with the business.
GrabTheBrisket.com, guys. That's where to go to get all the fresh shit that you want right now. Merchandise. I mean, you can go listen to podcasts. I mean, previous podcasts that you missed out on, check it out. Go to GrabTheBrisket.com. You can listen to those things. You can go buy shirts. You can buy what else we got there, John? We got koozies from CoolieNation, right? We got that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're not buying those, but if you send us like a barbecue fail, barbecue win, maybe a cool recipe you came up with, we'll send you a koozie.
Then we'll send you a koozie. But otherwise, guys, go to the website, grabthebrisket.com. That'll get you anywhere on all social medias, man. Like all the Twitters, all the Facebooks, Instagrams, all of them.
Yep.
Just go
It's all there.
man.
One click away.
It's one
They're
click
all
away.
one click away.
That's right.
I love it.
Dun, dun, dun,
Man,
dun,
that's-
dun, dun, dun.
I
Okay.
never,
Thanks
I ain't
for
never hit
listening,
y'all. I ain't
guys.
never hit y'all with the business like that.
Jesus.
Yeah. All right.
I always feel awkward like signing off. Like I always like, till next time, guys, or talk barbecue with you later.
Till next time. All right, guys. Hey, listen, we appreciate
They don't
it.
like saying goodbye.
Appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule to listen to us. Hoping that we've done a little couple things with our audio quality. Hopefully, it's not unlistenable or anything else. If it is, then it's John's fault. Right?
This is
That's
true.
what I keep telling everybody. It's
It
always
always
John's
is.
fault.
It
We'll
always
just
is.
have Matt back
So-
on.
Yeah.
Cutting that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate it.
Which Matt? We had one Matt on only today.
Anyways,
All right, it was
Well,
great.
you know what you could say? You could say, if we stay on too long, we get burnt.
It was great talking barbecue with you
okay.
guys.
Yep.
I kind of like that.
Hey, it was.
Peace.
Thanks. We've been great.
We've been great.
Dang it, Bobby. Just grab the brisket. Or we would like to give a special thanks to FOGO Premium Hardwood Lump Charcoal, Bolner's Fiesta Spices, CoolieNation Custom Koozies, Cambro Manufacturing, Yeti Cooler, the Smoke Sheep Barbecue Newsletter, and Texas Brew Hopper. We appreciate their support. Y'all guys go check them out.